followed the news, you know that there was a struggle in Egypt as the nation newly gained its freedom. We now fight a war in Libya as we commit more of our troops and resources to help another nation that is oppressed by a tyrannical leader. Why do we do this? It's because we believe in freedom, and we as a people and as a nation will try and do everything we can to preserve it. But as we stop tyrants abroad, we must stop and ask ourselves, are we really free at home? Is our information open to us? And if not, how can we voice our discontent? The greatest weapon we have against misinformation and oppression is open dialogue, and we can obtain this through the internet. Some have started the fight already. You may also have heard of Wiki Leaks, which is a site dedicated to bringing information to the people. In their mission statement, they describe themselves as a non-profit media organization dedicated to bringing important news and information to the public. They provide an innovative, secure, and anonymous way for independent sources around the world to leak information to our journalists. We publish material of ethical, political, and historical significance while keeping the identity of our sources anonymous, thus providing a universal way for the revealing of suppressed and censored injustices. This is the best way to fight misinformation, getting it out there. And you too can have an impact in your community and your world. Going on to the WikiLeaks site, we can see that it's quite easy to access. You just simply scroll down and can see a list of articles available to you about various subjects. Here, after clicking on one of WikiLeaks' links, we see the story of a murder cover-up of a journalist by the Pentagon. One could imagine that as these stories show a negative light on a government, they're not happy. As a matter of fact, the US government is now actively pursuing WikiLeaks in a lawsuit, trying to shut them down and stop them from releasing information to the public. But as you could imagine, WikiLeaks won't stand for this. They continue to push on, and as a matter of fact, they continue to push work on their site related to the very court trial that the government is filing against them. We see here a document published by WikiLeaks showing where the US Department of Government has demanded from Twitter information regarding the accounts of various users with ties to WikiLeaks. The legality of this is very questionable and is currently being debated in courts. But you may ask yourself, what can you do? WikiLeaks is such a large site. How can you make a difference? Well, there's an answer to that too. You can become an activist. You can try to do something on a more local level, like some organizations have before you. Here we see the logo of one such activist group, Anonymous. They are an internet-based group that arose in many of the blogs in which people were allowed to post anonymously. They pride themselves on being the collective hive mind of the internet and act using their technological savvy to protect free speech whenever they can. One of their most recent successes is their Operation Egypt. In this, they set to shut down the sites of the political incumbent Mubarak while he was trying to spread false information while his people were struggling against him. When Mubarak shut off the internet to the people of Egypt, Anonymous faxed in world news feeds about the struggle in order to help keep the people informed and let them know that the rest of the world was on their side. When Anonymous looks to take on a public operation, they often release a press release via YouTube. In it, they state what the problem they seek to address is, and how they will hope to solve it, or hope to show their displeasure with it. The following is an example of one such video that they have posted in regards to Egypt.
Dear citizens of the world, Anonymous cannot and will not stand idly while people are being denied their basic rights and human liberties. Yet there are still a lot of governments worldwide who fail to even aspire to the standard of freedom that was set by the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. These governments believe they have the right and privilege to impose upon their own people an official version of reality which is not in any way tempered by the truths of everyday life under which its citizens are living. Anonymous believes this is an outright crime which cannot go unpunished. The Egyptian people are living under inhumane conditions, being denied their basic rights to freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, and the free access to information.
While the people of Egypt are now free, Anonymous has not stopped their efforts. They will continue to fight for freedom for any people who wish to shrug off oppression. They currently are undergoing operations in the nation of Libya, where its people are now trying to stop the tyrannical rule of their own dictator. Despite all the good they do, not everyone views Anonymous as a positive entity. As a matter of fact, they are often branded as hackers or cyber terrorists. The United Kingdom has taken a firm stance against Anonymous, treating its actions as a definite form of cyber terrorism. Recently, 5 members of Anonymous were arrested in the United Kingdom for unauthorized acts in relation to computers. This marks some of the first legal action taken against Anonymous and is a response to Anonymous's Operation Payback, a coordinated effort to attack companies which had pulled financial support for Wiki Leaks after pressure from governments. It is unclear whether these arrests were spurred on by the government's ongoing dispute with Wiki Leaks, or if this is an example of a nation truly putting its foot down and declaring Anonymous's brand of cyber activism as illegal. It is important to remember, however, that Anonymous is on the cutting edge of technology, and technology will always outpace legislation. We cannot punish them simply because we do not understand what they do. We must make a well-informed decision and really know what they are doing before we choose to pass judgment. But all of this may seem rather radical for you, and you want to make a difference that won't get you put in jail. Well, the answer to that is to do something on a local level. To make a difference, to speak out, to spread information. Information can make a change, and you can make a change on a local level. Here we see one such local site in Rutgers Leaks. On this website, you can scroll around and see various articles posted that relate to topics which Rutgers students may find interesting. We see here a few of the recent articles, which include various topics about administration misspending. You too can start a site and affect the community that you live in by just getting information out there. Remember, we as a nation cannot be free without information. So learn something, actively seek knowledge, and spread it to all those who care. Together, you can make a difference by making sure that the community is informed.